Hey everyone, and welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and here at RedBeard Outdoors, I talk about faith, family, fitness, and the outdoors. And today, being Monday, I'm going to bring a gear review to you, and that's what we do on Mondays. Wednesdays are a shorter episode, just kind of get you pick me up throughout the week, and then Saturdays I get to share the wonderful conversations that I have with some amazing guests that are willing to spend an hour, a little bit more of their time talking to me through how they incorporate those four pillars into their lives in different forms and fashions. And absolutely love those conversations. But today I get to scratch that itch with you guys as far as gear reviews are concerned because, well, let's be honest, we all like gear to different levels and degrees. But for me, I really like to find that good high quality equipment that maybe it may feel like a crying situation because you're spending your hard-earned money, but at the same time, I want you and me to spend our hard-earned money on things that will actually last us, will actually be of use. And there's so many gear items out there. It just all depends on what you're wanting to use it for. So today I'm going to talk to you about the strings that I ran this last year, some of the abuse that I put them through, and why we'll continue running these strings because I'll be honest with you, they're the best ones that I've found to date. I know there's some great string companies out there. There's such stiff competition. It blows me away that there are some that can stand out from the others, but there's a few reasons why they do stand out from the others. This company that I ran this last year, and I just found them looking for a set of strings that I wanted to put on my last year's bow, and I reached out to them, got some more information, had a good conversation on the phone with Brent from A3 Archery, and I was able to learn a lot about his strings and why he builds them the way that he does, and it was a great story. I'm going to have Brent on the podcast to tell a little bit more of his story, so I won't dive into that too much here. And before we get into the review that I have for you guys on those strings, I do want to bring up today, which is Monday, tomorrow and Wednesday are the last days to get in for these RedBeard Outdoors hats. We're doing the first run of them. I'm doing a pre-order. So if you want those, shoot me a message over on Instagram. I'll get you. I'm just doing it through a link that I'll send you. So send me a message on Instagram or email me or leave a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube, and I'll get back to you on that so you can get one of the first orders of hats that I'm going to have going out. The beard is going to be a little bit more orange than this. This is a little bit more maroon reddish. We're going to go a little bit more orange to fit kind of my color, my scheme here. And I really appreciate all the support that you guys have already shown for those of you that have gone out and ordered them already. I'm stoked to get those out there and on your heads. And on top of that, guys, if you're into sheep hunting or elk hunting or any kind of archery hunting at all, go check out these shirts over at Wild Arrow. They just got a new run-in of shirts, and I love these bighorn sheep shirts. They fit good, they're comfy, and I love supporting the local bow shop that we've got here. They're just an amazing group of guys. We'll be doing some giveaways with them here in the near future that I'm going to be announcing, and I'm super stoked to work with them on those as well. Just, again, great quality equipment, great guys in general over there at Wild Arrow. So here we go, guys. A3 Archery. A3 Archery bowstrings. Now these are going to be the ones from my VTM 31 that I'm still waiting on. Supposedly I'll be having my bow this upcoming week, which I'm excited to get that all set up and throw a sight on and get it sighted in with some new arrows and get things working on that end. But the A3 Archery bowstrings, let me tell you a little bit about them. So there's a couple of companies that I was looking at, and they all run pretty much the same material. And that material holds, it's got wax, but it's also the way that material is built is really high quality. It's great strings, great cables, great overall for most bows. And they have good, I guess, what you would say, warranties on them, and just great builds overall. A3 Archery stood out to me because when I was looking at it, it mentioned Bloodline fiber and being waxless. Now, the reason why that is, for me, a big deal is because there's so many things that can happen, especially being here in Utah, the temperatures fluctuate from really hot to a little bit colder, especially while you're out hunting for early season mule deer or elk during the rut. You can get a little hot during the day, cold in the evening. There's a lot of dust because we're out here in a desert. It's pretty dry. You can also get some rainstorms. And I like to shoot a lot, so you can end up getting some stretch in your strings. You have to go get it retuned. I've had that happen as well in the past where I was shooting a certain set of strings that my bow was supposed to be set up for 75 pounds when it came in from the factory, with the limbs and the mods that I was using on the Matthews that I was shooting before. And my stock strings were pulling 76 pounds, I think, 75, 76 pounds out of the box. And I put this other set of strings on the bow, and it was pulling 70 pounds or 71 pounds. It was like 3 to 4 pounds less. So we cranked up on the cables and we did some other things to mess with it, and we got it up to spec. And then within a couple hundred shots, it was back down those couple pounds. So I just wasn't happy with that. Obviously, there was some stretch and some other quality issues that I was a little concerned with. And I don't want to have questions or concerns about my equipment when I'm out in the backcountry. Whether or not, I had opportunities to shoot at elk or deer, whatever it is, I want to know that my equipment is going to hold up to the task that I'm asking of it. So I started looking around at other strings, and I found A3 Archery. They're a smaller company. Right now it's just basically Brent and his wife running it out of their home. And so that intrigued me. I love finding smaller companies that can have good quality, stick with their customer service as well, but they build a good quality product and someone that I could hop on the phone with. So I talked with Brent, and he just explained to me why he chose Bloodline fiber. Now they use this other I'm going to forget the name of the string material that most other companies use. I think it's 452X. Either way, he has a lower model that he uses that set of that material on, which again, it's a great material. It does really good, and most bow companies or string companies use this material. But Brent's at A3 Archery, his upper echelon level of strings use what's called Bloodline fiber. Now, Bloodline fiber is waxless, like I mentioned before. Waxless was, for me, interesting because, again, you don't have to worry about in the heat the wax being sucked out of the string, which can cause issues with your up and down, your stretch on your string, etc. So you don't have to worry about that. You also don't have to worry about the wax picking up dirt when it's a little warm from being out in the sun or whatever it may be. And then you don't have to worry about the dust getting in, which can also cause minor issues. Right now, these are all really minor issues, guys. It's not something that most people would notice, to be honest with you. But if you shoot enough and you start losing that poundage because of stretch or because dust gets into the string, whatever, you'll start notice that at distance, you will lose. You'll lose yardage basically on your arrow flight. So I didn't want to deal with that. So I was really interested with the Bloodline fiber. Now, Bloodline fiber is, and I'm just going to kind of read this off the site here. It is, it's waxless, and it's abrasion resistant and water repellent naturally. So it's got this slick coating on it that is embedded into the strings itself. It's not just like a coating, but it's actually embedded in and to the strings to where it's pretty slick in and of itself, the string. So it's water repellent. It is dust resistant because there's no wax. It is stretch resistant because the way Brent builds them and the tensions, you guys are going to have to go over and see some of his videos. I'm going to mess up all the statistics and numbers if I try and break them down for you. But he pre-stretches them and puts them under such tension that he was mentioning, and I was seeing that not many other companies use that much tension before they build the strings to go ahead and pre-stretch them out for you. What pre-stretching does is it allows you to not have to have that break-in period where you're concerned about, putting 100 to 200 arrows through your bow and then getting it retuned and sighted in to where it has stretched. You don't want to have to deal with that. You want to be able to set your bow up, get the strings and cables on it, and not worry about it stretching. You also want to not have to worry about it, again, stretching in the field, picking up dust, the wax melting out of it and that changing a little bit, the twist in your peep. There's so many people that are just so used to having a twist in their peep that they just work with it. And that seems a little silly to me, but there's so many people that get used to having that twist in their peep when they come back to full draw and their peep is twisted, that before they even go to draw, they like pre-twist it too much the other way, so when they draw back, it's lined up straight. Now that seems a little crazy to me to have to think about that extra step, because imagine you are out in the field, you've got a mule deer or a buck or a bighorn sheep, which is even less of an opportunity. You have one of those big animals in front of you. You're ready to draw back. You draw back, and then you can't see through your peep because it's twisted. That's just awful. I can't imagine that being a scenario that I would ever want to be in. I don't want that for anyone. But that can be caused by, again, the stretch of the strings, and you can lose poundage again from the stretch of the strings and the cables, etc. So, long story long, I went with A3 Archery bowstrings and got them set up. And after a couple hundred shots, there was no twist in my peep. So I didn't have to go back in. After a couple hundred shots, I took my bow back in anyway just to test the poundage, and the poundage hadn't gone down. So that was awesome, especially compared to the previous strings that I had put on, which I'll mention were aftermarket strings. They weren't even the actual strings, like stock strings that everyone wants to rag on. These were aftermarket, high-level aftermarket strings, and they had stretch. Now, A3 Archery bowstrings didn't stretch. So there we go. Right off the bat, no peep twist, no stretching. Again, the material is pretty slick. The draw felt really smooth, which I felt was interesting because it was pulling actually heavier. I think it was pulling at 78 pounds is what we ended up at on my Matthews, my previous bow, and the draw just felt really smooth with those strings, which was interesting to me. I didn't think that the strings and that material being so slick would have any differing feeling on the draw cycle, but it did. It made the draw cycle even feel better. So went through the entire season, and after the entire season, I checked out my strings, and I don't have the bow with me right now, but there was little to no abrasion on those strings at all. And I've been through some scrub oak. I've dropped the bow. It's been on the ground. It's been in my back seat. It's rubbed on the seats as it was sitting there. It's been in cases. It's had plenty of time to rub on things that were rough or may cause some fraying. And on my backup bow back there, the set of strings that are on that, you can see that there's some fraying and things on the strings to make it look like it's been used. On these strings that I had on my Matthews, there's little to no sign of use whatsoever. Little to no sign of use. They don't even look dirty. I mean, you would think that these were brand new strings just about. And that blew me away because, again, like I said, I put them through snow. I put them through rain. They've been in the mud. They've been all over the place in the dirt, dust, up against scrub oak, which anyone that's gone through scrub oak understands how terrible scrub oak really can be. And so through all those things, there was little to no abrasion. They hadn't picked up dust. That didn't look dirty. It didn't look faded. It's UV resistant as well, so it didn't look like the strings had faded. It had that clean, crisp look compared to the rest of my bow that was covered in dust and grime and all of that stuff. So all of those things blew me away about A3 Archery bowstrings. So A3 Archery is going to be on my bow coming up here when I get to build out the VTM 31, and it will be on my future bows as well, just because I am impressed, super, super impressed by the materials, by the performance, by everything that I've seen out of these strings right here, guys. And there's some amazing color schemes. I chose, of course, the orange, the flow orange with the black serving. orange cables, black serving, etc. I chose to go that route because got to have the orange accents, guys. It's going to be an awesome looking bow. I'm really excited about it. There's many other colors out there, whatever flavor of your choice you like. And then he also has a Viper color, which is similar to this green. It's proprietary. It's something that only A3 Archery offers. And it's a pretty sweet green color. I love the look of that color as well. If I was a green guy, I would totally go for it, but I like that bright orange. So again, for me, guys, there's many things that check the boxes when it comes to strings that I want to add to a bow. You don't want to have to replace your strings every single year. You already pay so much for a bow. You already pay so much to upgrade your strings. You don't want to have to make that same payment every single year if you're not looking to upgrade your bow every year. You want to be able to go out and shoot. You want it to be reliable. You want to not have to worry about it. You want to buy your equipment and then not have to worry about it again. You want to be able to go out and shoot and enjoy it and know it's going to work. You don't want to have to worry about peep twist. You don't want to have to worry about taking it in to get retuned if you don't need to due to string stretch or any of those other concerns. You don't want to lose poundage on your bow unless you intentionally turn down the poundage. All of those things I did not encounter with A3 Archery bowstrings, and that with the Bloodline fiber. So that's the Platinum series that will have the Bloodline fiber in it. So I highly recommend that you go out and you get yourself, if you're looking to upgrade your strings, go to A3 Archery bowstrings. I have a discount code down below, guys. Check it out. I definitely want to make sure that you guys get taken care of. This is one of those things where even the price is comparable, if not better, than some of the competitors out there, guys. You're supporting an amazing family by doing it. Brent, basically his story is that he was having those same issues with all the materials that were standard at the time, with the stretch, with dust accumulation, having to change out his strings every single year, and he wasn't happy with it. So he went and he found a solution, something that works for him. He's had many archers that go through and use his strings and go through tournament shooting and many more arrows than even I shoot. And they're all really proud to be rocking the A3 strings. So definitely go check out A3 Archery bowstrings, guys. Look forward to a podcast that Brent and I are going to do here in the near future for him to break down his story. And outside of that, guys, if you have any other questions, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely leave them in the comments down below. I want to know what your questions are about these strings, anything that I might have missed, anything that maybe you're looking for in a new set of strings. Definitely leave that down below. Also, of course, subscribe, like this video if you gained anything from it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, leave a follow, leave a review. Definitely helps to make the podcast grow, get out to other people, and helps with the whole algorithm thing. However that thing works, I still haven't figured that out. And if you have figured it out, let me know. I'll pay you some good money for that. Either way, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Go pick up your RedBeard Outdoors hat. Go pick up some A3 Archery bowstrings. Have an amazing rest of your week. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.